If you are an accountant, then you probably way rather work with one client paying $1,500 a month than 10 clients paying you $150, right? You have higher margins, you have to work less, and let's be honest, you can also have a bigger impact on that one higher paying client, which is also quite a lot more fun. Now in this video, I'm going to give you the step-by-step process that we used for multiple accountants and bookkeepers that help them attract their first $1,500 per month client. Before we dive in, let me quickly introduce myself in case you are new to the channel. My name is Daan, owner of Accounting Kings, where we work with accountants to get them more higher paying clients. And we've been doing this for 7 years, and the strategies that I'm sharing in this video, but in general on my YouTube channel, are just things that we found after implementing this with other accountants. Now, this strategy helped multiple accountants book more meetings, charge more for their services, but also have a higher sales conversion rate. So it's extremely powerful to implement what I'm going to share with you today. Now, the tip that I'm going to give to you is for all of your acquisition, okay? From booking more meetings to actually converting those meetings for a higher price. And the very first thing that you need to do is talk about specific outcomes for a specific type of person. So if you are looking for $1,500 a month bookkeeping or accounting clients, it's very hard to get these types of clients if you don't have a specific message for a specific type of person. Of course, you can get these type of clients from referrals, but if you're watching this video, then the referral growth is probably very slow and also inconsistent. So you want to pick a specific niche. You always need to niche down when you are trying to do marketing, and you need to figure out what the specific outcome is that they want. So, for example, if you work with medical company owners, they oftentimes have issues with their medical billing. If you work with e-com companies, they sometimes have issues with their inventory, or if you work with law firms, they have issues with their compliance, right? If they are not compliant and they have issues with compliance, it's of course a huge damage to their reputation. So you need to figure out what a specific outcome is for a specific type of person. And this specific type of person needs to be found online, okay? So at the end of the day, we are going to reach them either with our paid ads, with our outbound, like calls, messages, or emails, or with content, but they need to be online. So once you figured out who you want to target and what specific outcome that you want to actually give to them, you are going to put that message in front of them. Okay, so you need to do some research on what the specific thing is that your niche is struggling with. Test a couple of different angles. So for example, if you work with general contractors or home remodelers, they have issues with not knowing which jobs make money. They have cash flow issues, maybe some seasonality if they're a landscaping company, for example. But you never really know what angle is definitely going to work, right? So you need to have at least 3 to 4 angles that you are going to test. Of course, you can also ask a couple of people that you maybe know, but it's always better to just let the market decide. So you need to pick a niche and pick a couple of angles, a couple of outcomes that you can deliver to them. Now, once you then have a couple of outcomes that you can deliver with your services for a qualified client, you put this message in front of them. So you talk about the specific outcome that you are able to get them. And this can be with paid ads, this can be with outreach or with content, okay? This is all for your whole acquisition process. So if you have the specific outcome that you now know that they want, you tested different angles, different outcomes, then you basically guarantee that outcome by working with you. Now, quick side note here, if you are a CPA, for example, from the US, in certain states, you can not make the claim of guarantee. What you can do is we are able to identify opportunities to increase your cash flow, and if we don't, you don't have to pay us. Something along those lines. But you have to do a little bit of research here on what you can and cannot do from a compliance standpoint. And it's important actually that you follow those rules, right? So, not that you don't know, but I'll just share. So once you then have the outcome that you know that they want, all you have to do is put that message in front of more people. If you don't have a lot of money to spend, you need to do organic outreaches, cold calls, cold emails, cold DMs. I've already made a couple of videos on the channel about cold DMs. If you have a couple of dollars to spend, like 1 or 2,000, or actually 1,500 to 2,000 is really the minimum. Paid ads and content is, to be honest, something that you need to do at all times. Just videos like this doesn't take that much effort to make. So you now know the pain point and basically what they are willing to achieve, and you tell them, look, if you work with me, if I'm not able to give you this outcome, I'm going to give you all of your money back, or your next quarter will be free, or your tax return will be free, or I'm going to give you a discount on XYZ service. Just a risk reversal. Some of my clients, they say, look, I am really good with working with logistic companies, for example. I can at least, with a qualified company, important that you say with a qualified company, I can at least get a qualified company $30,000 in savings or profit opportunities. So what you do is you are very specific with who you target. So for example, just businesses that do $500,000 to $1 million a year, or just companies that don't have an accountant right now, or whatever it is. If you, for example, talk to a business owner, they have an accountant, they have some systems set up, but maybe their current accountant is not very proactive, but has been doing an okay job in general, maybe you lower that outcome a little bit, right? But you can always make guarantees or risk reversals from a compliance standpoint, just to get more interest. So what we did with the clients is we niched down, found what the specific outcome was that they were wanting to achieve, or basically the problem that they were experiencing. We tailored the message to this problem, which already got a little bit of interest. But then we also said, and if we are not able to give you this specific outcome, you don't pay. So it's literally zero risk. So from an appointment booking standpoint, which is basically the first part of your acquisition process, you will book more meetings because it's specific to a specific problem, and you basically say, look, it's just guaranteed. It's zero risk. So more people are interested to book a meeting with you. More people are also going to show up because they want the outcome that you talked about. But then during the meeting, of course, you have your sales process, and then you discover, okay, well, this is your situation right now. You are experiencing a problem which I can solve. And again, if we don't solve this problem, you don't pay. So there's zero risk. And from also a pricing standpoint, the pricing and value is pretty much the result of the outcome that you are able to get them, the effort in time and the effort that they need to put in, but also the risk and the likelihood of achieving that outcome, right? So if you increase the outcome that you can actually help them get, which most of the business owners, they are willing to have higher profit margins, increase cash flow, but they aren't necessarily aware of how much a good accountant can actually help with that. So you increase that outcome, but you also increase the likelihood, at least the perceived likelihood of achievement by working with you, right? So you literally tell them, look, how much do you think it's possible for you to increase your profit margins? Maybe they say 2-3%. Then maybe you can offer an assessment, you can charge for that. Then you maybe discover, okay, well, actually, I think we can increase that. Boom. But then you can also say, and if not, you don't pay, right? So both of them increase, and this is going to increase the perceived value of your services. And therefore, more people are willing to work with you, but they are also willing to pay a premium, right? So let's say that you want to buy a lottery ticket. If the lottery ticket typically is like 50 bucks, okay? Maybe you do it, you know that you're probably going to lose, but still you do it. And let's say that you can win $1 million. But let's say if it's guaranteed that you are going to win $1 million, you're not going to pay 50 bucks, you pay $500,000 for it. And you find a way to make $500,000. You start cutting all of the people that you know, and maybe even investors for a cut, right? If the outcome increases, but the likelihood of them achieving it also increases, more people are willing to pay more and work with you. So from an entire acquisition system, from booking the meetings to making sure they show up, from making them a client to actually charging more, that entire process will have better results by talking about specific outcomes for a specific person and guaranteeing the outcome. Now, another big benefit of doing this is that you can use terms. So if you are going to give risk reversals, guarantees, you do need to have an agreement, right? So you don't want to have like very small letters somewhere in the corner about the guarantee. You make it very obvious what they need to do in order to qualify for the guarantee. So if you say we are able to increase your profit margins by 5%, then you say you need to give me access to your software, QuickBooks Online. You need to give me all of your documents on time. You need to answer my emails within 48 hours if I have a question. and you need to show up on time to our bi-weekly meetings. What this is going to do is that, first of all, you have clear expectations and clear rules, right? Which is always beneficial. But second of all, you will get better clients because they are now double incentivized to actually follow your advice. So maybe you've experienced this before where you had a client and they were just very late to upload the documents and they're just not really very easy to work with. But if you are charging more, they're more incentivized to follow your advice. But now you have the terms too, right? And it's not that you have those terms to kind of like fuck someone over in like, for lack of better terms. And those terms are also just to have very clear expectations, right? So it's going to help you to get more clients, more meetings, charge more, but the quality of the client will also increase. So this is the exact process that we follow to help multiple bookkeepers and accountants get their first $1,500 a month client. So if you are also looking for these types of clients, we actually implement everything that we give to accountants ourselves. So you can guess it, we actually have that risk reversal too. I don't want to pitch you something, but we basically guarantee at least 5 clients, higher paying clients, so you get all your money back. So if you want to learn more about that, there's a link in the description, but you don't have to make this video for free, just to share what we have learned, because I know that you as an accountant, you have a lot of value to offer, and there are a lot of businesses that are in need of your services, right? So if you learned a couple of things, make sure that you do the liking and subscribing stuff. The algorithm will then suggest more videos like this, making it that you learn more and also make more money. I'll see you in the next video.